Welcome back to Mountain Connections. Right now, we are honored to speak with actor, writer, producer Kyle Matthew. Kyle is joining us from Texas. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. How about yourself?
Doing great, and you are involved in many excellent things. I'm excited to learn more about you and all of your projects currently. But before we do that, tell me a little bit about your background. I know you were born in Dallas, and now you are making your way in this incredible industry in a great way. But tell me a little bit about your journey to where you are right now.
Of course. Well, first off, thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be here with y'all today speaking. So, first and foremost, wanted to say that. Second, I would love to tell you a little bit more about myself. So, as you mentioned, I grew up in Dallas, Texas, and funny story, I actually had very serious dreams of being a professional basketball player growing up. I wore sweatbands every day to school. I was obsessed with the Lakers. I even had my bar mitzvah theme centered around basketball. It wasn't until like the 8th grade when I won Best Actor at Shakespeare Day at the school I went to at the time, Greenhill School, where I decided to make the jump from the court to the screen and the stage. And it was also around that time when I realized my chances of being over 6 foot were slim to none.
Such a fun story, and I'm intrigued by how you were able to switch gears, change your dream. It made sense though, but I also want to ask, how did you win this award on Shakespeare Day? Were you performing? Were there just opportunities for everyone to participate in some Shakespearean theater? How did that go down?
Wow, what a nostalgic opportunity to elaborate on this. So at the school I went to, Greenhill School, as I mentioned, every year in 8th grade, they have this thing called Shakespeare Day where we, as all the English classes, we each perform a scene from Romeo and Juliet, and we perform that, and then from all the respective performances, there's like 10 groups that are chosen to perform for the entire middle school. And the group that I was in, we performed the scene from Act 3, Scene 1, the fight scene, and I played Mercutio, and I still remember my iconic line to this day, "A plague on both your houses," and it was definitely a monumental moment in my journey as a performer, though in the grand scope of things, it might seem very minuscule.
It sounds like it was definitely a dramatic plot twist in your life. You were able to put aside your basketball dreams. So what happened next? You were encouraged. You realized how much you loved to be on stage, to perform. How did you get to doing what you're doing right now? You're starring in different projects, very busy. Tell me more about those steps that have gotten you where you are.
I think a lot of it had to do with curiosity and being very self-aware of the things that I didn't know and the things that I wanted to know, and asking a lot of questions and taking a lot of classes, both of which I still do to this day. I think adopting the beginner's mindset, because the beginner's mindset sees all the possibilities, and really holding on to that as I continue to evolve as a human and as a performer, I think has been integral to my growth thus far.
And you've been involved in a couple of film projects such as Charlie, Hughes, and UNINVITED. Tell me more about those.
Yeah, so those were both 2 short films that I had the pleasure of not only acting in, but also writing and producing, and they had respective premieres, Charlie Hughes at South by Southwest, and UNINVITED at the Burbank International Film Festival. And both of those projects are very, very special to me, mainly because of the fact that it gave me the opportunity to work with writers, other directors, other producers, other filmmakers, makeup artists, cinematographers, etc., that I'd either wanted to work with or that I'd already worked with in the past that I wanted to work with again. So as a result of me being on the production side of those projects as well, I was able to come to those people with an opportunity rather than the normal position an actor has to be in, which is, waiting for someone to bring an opportunity to that.
And more recently, you've been a part of Disney's Bunk'd, and you also have a feature film coming out. Tell me more.
So this past Friday, I had my first appearance in the incredible Disney Channel show Bunk'd, and they actually just had their 100th episode. So I'm very honored to be involved with such an incredible and long-lasting program such as Bunk'd, and I'm excited to see them continue going on, and I'm looking forward to the possibility of hopefully coming back. And yeah, that character was great. I can't stop telling this anecdote because it still feels so magical, which is that a couple days before I had the audition for the role, which was at the beginning of January, my grandfather passed away. And my grandfather was always the one when I first started acting professionally in high school. He'd always drive me to my auditions, and all the jobs that I booked when I first started out, he was there by my side. And his name was Martin, and his dad's name was Meyer, and the name of the character who I play on the show, his name is Myron. So it was a really special homage and tribute to one of the most supportive people in my life, and it really felt as if I was able to kind of have him in the room with me when I built the job and when I was on set filming it. So that was super special, and yeah, I'm itching for the opportunity to return.
Almost one of those full circle moments where you feel that support during a really tough time of loss that I'm sure you'll continue to feel him within what you're doing because he was such a big part of where you are today. What can you tell me about this upcoming feature film project, or can you really tell me anything?
Unfortunately, I cannot disclose much. All I can say is that it was another incredible experience where I got to work with a lot of gifted artists, both in front of and behind the camera, and I'm very excited for when it comes out, and I'm just grateful to be associated with all the talented people that worked on it, because they've already achieved a lot of great things, and I know that they're on the way to achieve even more.
We definitely look forward to hearing more about that when the time is right. Now, I feel like this time is a really pivotal moment for all of us as we're coming out of this pandemic. We're framing our lives almost as pre and post pandemic. But for you, how did this past year and a half really affect what you're doing today and change where you're at, or has it really?
I mean, it definitely has. I think that one of the biggest ways and one of the biggest gifts that the pandemic offered me individually and us collectively as a society amidst all the incredible tragedy and trauma that occurred was kind of the ability to, or the opportunities, so to speak, to step back and take a look at our respective lives and our lives as humans in general, and really take a close look and see, like, what are the things that I'm doing that I like? What are the things that I'm doing that I want to change? Am I living in line with my values? Do I know what my values are? Am I taking care of others? Am I taking care of myself? So I think a lot of those lessons that I learned and that I believe we as people learn, I'm hoping that we'll be implementing them moving forward to hopefully be a more kinder and inclusive race of people moving forward.
Kyle, you've done so many great things, and you also have some impressive projects in the works. How can we find out more about you, everything you're working on, and follow along with your projects, everything that's going on within your life?
Of course, I would say I'm most active on Instagram, so y'all can find me there. It's at the Kyle Matthew, and I definitely would say that I'm posting my most recent stuff there, which is a great place to catch me. You can also catch me on my Facebook page, which is at Kyle Matthew Actor. But I would say between those two, and especially Instagram, that's where you can kind of keep up with yours truly.
Well, Kyle, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you today. Very talented. You also have this depth to you. Looking forward to following everything that you're doing. You'll have to come back to Park City Television and see us once again once your film comes out and other things that come about within your life. We'll be back with more right here on Park City Television after this.